Hi, my name is Jan Smith from CompuSew with Jan, and I am in my Premiere Plus Embroidery Extra software. The design you're looking at, this one in the corner, is from Scaledale House, and it's from her Country Promise selection. The reason I'm creating this video is to show you that there's more than one way to get the final results. And we're going to use Encore, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways to get the same design. Now, this can be done in your 6D software, and this can be done in your 5D software. The only thing that'll be different is your tools will have different names. In the Premiere Plus, we have a tab up here called Modify. In the other software programs, it's called the Edit tab. In your 6D software, you'll have them right up here like this, and in 5D everything's going to be over here on the right hand side. So you just need to know your software to know where to go. The reason I'm creating this in the Premiere Plus because there's an extra step that needs to be done when we're using Encore and rotating a design. And the reason for that is when we work with our designs, we will be grouping the designs. Premiere Plus uses the option to group, and grouping the designs has a lot of benefits, but sometimes when you're working with Encore like I do, you just have to take this little extra step. So I'm just going to click on this, and I am going to delete it, and I'm going to paste one of the designs back in here. Okay, to begin with, I'm in my 200 by 200 millimeter hoop, and when I click on View, I've chosen the size 9 millimeters for my grid. And the reason I did that is because I want my design to be just inside the 200 millimeter hoop, and that's going to be 198, and I want a 198 square design, and that's why I'll be using the grid lines. So the first one we're going to do is using Encore. All of these are going to be using Encore. I'm going to use the line. I want mirror imaged. I only want 2, and I'm going to preview. I have them grouped. I definitely want them grouped, and I'm just going to click on preview. And what my goal is to grab this little square. In fact, let me just zoom in. I can zoom in on this for you a little bit. And if I click on this overview window here, I have a box that'll help me move around my hoop and make it a little easier for me, and so I don't have to use the sliders. And here's this little box right here, this little square box, and I want to pull this all the way out to the very first grid line inside the hoop. Sometimes I get it and sometimes I don't. So I'm just going to apply that, and I'm going to zoom to fit. Now you can see that they're grouped, and the way you can tell is because we have orange handles around there. And if I zoom in very close, you would see some very light gray boxes around each individual design. But I'm not here to teach the grouping part of this software. I just wanted you to know that. So now what I want to do is rotate this. I want to rotate this so the outside here is on the left hand side. So I'm just going to go to my Home tab, and I'm going to click on my Modify Design, and I'm going to type in 270. I could have rotated this 6 times using the rotate 45 degrees. Now I have this facing to the left here, and I want to do another Encore exactly the same, and this is where you're going to see it's a little different. So when I go back to Encore, you notice that my mirror is not selected here. There is a box around it, but when I go to do the preview again, same settings, if you look at this real close, it is not mirror imaged, and the reason for that is because the design, I'm just going to cancel, the design is grouped, and it won't allow me to change this the way I want it to be. And this is the one little step I was telling you about that you need to do in Premiere Plus, and it's so quick and easy. All I have to do is combine this, and since it's the only thing in my work area, I can just click on Combine and combine all. If you had some other parts of designs in your work area here or off to the side, you would need to click on Combine Selected. Now it's one design. This is what it's going to look like in your 6D software, and this is what it's going to look like in your 5D software. So again, I can use Encore, and now you can see the settings there. I'm going to preview. I'm going to pull this apart to the outside line. Oops, I went too far. And I'm not zooming in now. I'm just going to put it here. But I do want you to know my size is not the correct size. I want 198 in width and 198 in height. And I can show you easily how to correct this without having to redo and undo and redo. But I'm not going to do it on this one because I have two more ways to show you how to create this design. So I'm going to click on my clipboard. This design is selected, so I'm just going to delete it. I'm going to try to delete it. Oh, there we go. So I need to go to my Home tab and just paste this. Here we go again. Now for this demo, I'm going to rotate the design 45 degrees because I want it facing up. I'm going to use Encore again, but a different way. So I'm going to go into Encore and I'm going to go into Circle, and I want to put this as standard. This is mirror image and this is standard, and I want 4 of them because I want 4 corners. So I just increase this to 4. Again, I'm grouped, and in 6D you'll be combined. Do not color sort. And the reason you're not going to color sort is because if you're creating a design, you're going to have to change things for your color sewing order. And if you combine everything, or if you color sort, that's going to be very, very difficult to do. So let's preview this, and this is what it looks like. So I'm not going to do any moving of this at all. I'm just going to go ahead and apply. I'm going to go to my Home tab, and I'm going to rotate this 45 degrees to get it into the corners. Now let me zoom in and see how well I did just by creating this. Well, actually it doesn't come up to the very first grid line. Now I could undo this and I could redo it again, but like I said before with the first demo, this is easily fixed in our editing tab. Right up here, editing for 6D and 5D, and modify tab for Premiere Plus. So I'm not even going to worry about it. But again, when I want to go into the modify tab to edit this, I would have to combine this. I would definitely have to go in combine, select it if there's more designs in here, or combine all. Then I could get into my modify tab. So back to my Home tab, I'm going to delete this, and now I'm going to paste it again, and I'm going to show you the third way of creating the design. Each one's a little bit different, and you can choose which one you like the best. Now again, I'm going to click on my Encore, and I want line, and I want mirror image, and I only want 2 of these again. And so I'm just going to preview, and again I'm going to pull this apart to the very first grid line inside the hoop, and I'm just going to apply. And again, my width is not correct, but that's not a problem. Now this is going to be a little bit different. We're going to continue using Encore, and we're going to click on Circle. And even though the design is grouped, you notice I did not rotate it at all, so I don't have to combine this right now. I don't know if you can tell just by looking at this, but there is a square around there, the mirror image, so it really is still mirrored image. So I'm going to circle, and I'm going to go to preview, and now you see the big circle here. I'm going to put my cursor inside, and I'm just going to move this up and put this on the first grid line inside the hoop here. So 3 different ways to get the same results. Now all I have to do is click on apply. And let me look at my size over here. I have 199.2. The single design, when I did the very first Encore, this said 199.1. But when I created the rest of the design, it increased that size. So for the width I have 199.2, and for the height I have 197.4. Now I'm going to show you how to fix this, and you would use the same process for all 3 of the different ways that I showed you how to create this design. So the first thing I need to do is go to my Home tab, and I want to use my Modify tab up here. And when I click on it, it tells me a group is selected, and I can modify one item by using the restrict groups, but I don't want to do that. I want to modify the whole thing. So again, I'll go into combine, and I'll just click combine all because that's all that I have in here. So now I'm going to click on my modify tab, and I want you to look at the right hand side here. The width has the arrow going side by side, the height has the arrow going up and down, and if you look at the keyboard, then you'll notice the arrow keys have the up and down in a side by side. So we're going to use the keys, the arrow keys on your keyboard, to change the size to the size that we want. So what I want to do is click on my box select, and you can't see that real well, so I'm going to pull my window out to it looks like what yours looks like. I'm going to click on my box select, and I'm going to surround the designs on the right side. Now I want this to go down to 198 millimeters, and remember that I didn't zoom in when I did this, and if I had zoomed in I would have been a lot closer to the size I want. So what I want to do is use the left arrow because I want to move this inside, so I'm going to use the left arrow and go down to 198. So I'm just clicking on my left arrow. I had to go down a few points. There I go, I'm 198. Now I need to go up in my size for the height. So again, I'm just going to drag a box around the top part of the design, and I'm going to use the up arrow to increase this to 198. There I go. I have 198 by 198, and the first thing I need to do is to click on my Home tab and to click on, well, you can't see this either, so I'll move this out. Alignment, center in the hoop. I'm just going to move my window back, and you can see that it's 198 by 198 millimeters. How cool is that? Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video showing you how you can use one design to create 4 corners in 3 different ways and get the same results. Thank you for joining me. Bye now.